so many backgrounds, ages, walks of life, cultures. And I've seen the same thing plague everybody. This depressive, anxious darkness, the negativity that's on this planet. Seen it drag people down, ruin people's lives. I've always been on this journey of discovering how can anybody overcome their hardships and live the life they were born to live and be fulfilled regardless of what's going on around the world. It will never be perfect, but we can live a truly fulfilled life and live a much higher quality of life than the one we're living now. And the key things that I found is, number one, having a purpose, having a spiritual connection to God, having faith, and having the energy to take action on what we know to do. Exactly. And all of those things create magic in your life, and has in my life. Empowering you in purpose, personal stories, life lessons, and sustainable art. This is Tales and Tea with Lakshmi Bee. Hello everyone, welcome to our official Lakshmi Bee Podcast premiere, introducing our brand new series, Tales and Tea with Lakshmi Bee. I am here in the studio with Susan, the Bee in Lakshmi Bee, who's also my mum, for those of you who don't know. And we have finally, after a long time of planning, setbacks, and a massive overcoming of obstacles, launched this podcast. And we had a wonderful party for it, which was actually launched on the day of my birthday, which is very exciting.
Especially since the idea was born a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, on my birthday, which is the 3rd of June. So our birthdays are very close. And it was when we were out on my birthday last year, sitting in the Sofitel Hotel, having some drinks for my birthday, when Lakshmi was hit with the amazing idea of Tales and Tea with Lakshmi Bee. And now, a year later, on her birthday, she has launched it officially. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And I apologize if my voice is a little bit weird today. I almost lost it on the night of the party, and it's still a little bit rusty.
You had a lot of people to talk to at the party and interview, where I was in the kitchen taking care of the food. As part of our other business, which you'll get to know more about later, is Lavender Coco, which is the food part of the Lakshmi Bee business, which of course focuses on healthy vegan treats and snacks.
This was such an incredible day, and to think that this day almost didn't even happen. I mean, I can't believe how many times I almost felt like giving up on this process, and I believe every single person on this planet has a divine purpose, has something really special to add to the earth, something that not only helps yourself, but your family, your community, the people around you, and this whole entire planet. On this earth, we will go on a journey into discovering what that is and becoming the truest version of ourselves. And for me, I always felt that a part of my purpose, aside from the creativity and the fashion and the art, was to speak and share my stories. I always knew that I would go through a lot of interesting, almost out of the ordinary things for one person to go through. It would be because it would help me relate to people going through some kind of pain in all different areas of life, and I would be able to help them. And it's really weird. It's something I knew a long time ago, I think all the way back in primary school. And I didn't really understand fully what that would entail, making that declaration and all the things that have been attracted towards me and all the weird things that have happened. But coming out on the other side of a long, crazy and dark tunnel, I now feel ready to share those stories and hope that I can help anyone out there or any of you out there who may be going through some really hard things and challenges in all these different areas in life. I'm very much looking forward to finally kicking this podcast off. I know I tried to film a few episodes around COVID and it wasn't really working out with the timing and with the things I was going through. And it's funny when you think about timing is sometimes you might get an idea, a seed of an idea years in advance, and you wonder, well, I've got this idea, I've got this vision. Why isn't it happening? How come I can't make this thing work the way I see it in my mind? And what I've learned is that every single thing that you see, a dream or a vision in your heart and mind, it is there, it is real, and it has its divine appointed time to happen. And usually it's because there's certain character development, certain things you need to learn, certain mentalities that you need to develop, or certain things you need to unlearn, or new things you need to learn to be in a perfected state or the right state to actually make that happen.
Exactly. And often people aren't even ready for you or your idea at the time you actually think of it.
That's right.
Yes.
And it's funny because in this day and age, podcasting is now starting to become a big thing. Yeah. And everything just seems like the right time. So one thing I really learned in this journey of even getting to this level of putting this podcast out and even planning this launch party, which was so much work, so much detail, resources. I had to save up for certain things. It was a whole process, and overcoming the challenges and getting the right things for the event, even all the way down to the last details of getting our podcast album blown up, and the headache I had with the wood and actually making a canvas, and I bought the wrong wood and the nails weren't going in and the whole thing was warping and twisting. It was an utter disaster. And right at the last minute, I had to go to the hardware store, get a whole bunch of new wood, spend a lot more money than I wanted to, and redo the whole thing a day before the event and hang it up. And that thing is huge. All that kind of stuff, I went through. And in my mind, I'm like, is this a sign? Do I just stop? And then another part of me is like, no, it means there's a better way or something I haven't thought of yet. And it was this constant battle of back and forth. And I just thought, wow, isn't this just life with everything, you know? And I always go back to the initial idea. Well, what was the point of this whole premiere? And I remember I felt in my heart years ago that I would do a premiere for something. I didn't exactly know what it was. And then about a month ago, I was looking down at a table in deep thought, and I just saw the words on this magazine and it said premiere. And it hit me like an arrow in my heart. And I thought, oh, that's it. We need to do a premiere for the podcast. Yes. And my birthday was coming up. Yes. And I've been funny about my birthday. Since turning 30, I don't know what it was like for you growing up, but I grew up with a lot of movies and shows that made you feel like 30 was such a crazy thing, and you had to have all this stuff lined up at 30, and it was like this stupid media program that got to me subconsciously. And since then, I never wanted to celebrate my birthdays properly, and I've always kind of tried to dismiss it, or I'd feel sad. And then I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to put this podcast on my birthday, and it's going to be a celebration of new life, a new stage, a new season. Yeah. And so I just turned 32 over the weekend on Sunday, May 19, and that was the night that we did the podcast launch. And it was one of the best days and best birthdays that I've had so far. And that night was so magical. And I realized with all the incredible people who came, I have a lot of friends and contacts of all different ages, different walks of life, different backgrounds, and having them all there in that space. When I looked at the younger friends that I had, and I thought, wow, I remember when I was your age and all the thoughts that I had in my mind and trying to figure out what my purpose is, and seeing them go through some of those similar things. And then I saw the people who are ahead of me in age and how much they've accomplished. And some of them have accomplished their wildest dreams and have set world records. And I thought, wow, to get to your level, you know, when I grow, and all the wisdom that you get. And it was just so freaking inspiring to see me. I'm right in that stage, right in the middle of that stage where I've got the idea, putting it into action. And it was just so inspiring. Every stage of life is important and has something incredible and exciting to focus on and to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously age doesn't matter.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a lot older than Lakshmi, obviously.
It's never too late.
It's never too late to go for your dreams and what you really want to do.
And I heard someone say, in this moment, you will never be this young again. Yeah. And I remember thinking that I was old at 25, and I looked back on 25 and I look like a baby. Yeah. And I just think, oh my gosh, how many times are you going to look back and say this? And when I'm 50, I will look back today and think, you were just a baby.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Because obviously, you know, you're really young to me in my eyes. You're very young.
And it's amazing, especially because one of my incredible podcast guests and friends who was at the party is Michelle. Michelle Lee is a 3 times Guinness World Record global rowing champion. And she started her journey in her mid-40s and she's just absolutely killing it and is such an inspiration.
Yes. And it was actually thanks to her that the podcast launch happened on Lakshmi's birthday.
So it's a real miracle because I had this feeling I was going to meet someone incredible in November last year, and then I ended up meeting Michelle. And she has inspired me so much, and she's such an action taker.
Yeah, action.
Being in the rowing and sports world, someone who really powers forward and achieves her dreams. And she told me that she was going to be away around June, July. And I just took it as a sign, get this done by May. Exactly. Don't delay it anymore. So thank you so much, Michelle. So you helped give me the inspirational push to get this finally cracking.
Put it into action. Yes.
And so I just want to do a massive shout out to everybody who came to the party. Thank you to all our friends who've been with us on our personal journey, business journey, and corporate journey. It is such a blessing to have had every one of you there and to have your support. The people that you see at the party have been with me on this journey in some very pivotal moments of my life. Some I've known for years, some I've met recently, and we've just connected and clicked, and we're all in alignment on this path, and we're all here to bring healing to the planet. So I'm thanking every single one of you. And thank you for all the lovely gifts. You might see these flowers over here. A couple of my friends bought these beautiful flowers, so I had to put them on display. Just beautiful gifts that I received. Lovely scarves, and there was jewelry and some more alcohol, which I now have too much stacks of, which is kind of funny because I don't really drink that much. No. But I can cook with the white wine and make some nice risotto, some nice pasta dishes. I just wanted to do a shout out to my video crew on the day, to Noah Films, Sangeeta and Marshall, for capturing some glam bot and some really key moments on the day. Thank you to MB, who's my other video guy from Mac Media. And a massive thank you to Othniel and Krez from Tree Oak Films for capturing all the wonderful photography of the night. Last but absolutely not least, our big food sponsor, Lavender Coco Kitchen, created by Susan the Bee and Lakshmi Bee, made the most delicious treats, beautiful savory treats and desserts that are all vegan. And some people on the night actually thought they were eating meat.
They didn't even realize it was vegan. And I think they like the blend of Indian Western, because obviously I do a lot of Indian cooking and I do fusions between that and Western cooking, just to get a little more flavour into some of the food. And you can see here a couple of the desserts that we had.
So these were a couple of the treats that we had on the day, which were absolutely delicious. And you made 3 different types of these desserts.
Little mini trifles in 3 flavours, plus cheesecakes and cookies and a whole lot of other items.
They were so delicious. I didn't really get time to eat on the day, but we scabbed a few and put them in the fridge. Yes. And I thoroughly enjoyed them at the park the next day.
Yes.
I was trying to rejuvenate after such a big night. And of course, I just want to thank my team so much. A big part of my team is actually my family, and they all pitched in on the day and helped me set everything up. Bought me lunch when I didn't have time to run out and get anything. So I'm super grateful. Thank you so much for all your help. And again, thank you to you and Sangeeta and Marshall for helping.
And I want to make a special mention to Lakshmi's brother, who really saved the cake because I made the cake to look like a podcast mic, but I had forgotten to reinforce the chocolate rod that held it all together. And in the morning, it was
collapsed.
just collapsing, and I was freaking out.
Hours before the party.
And I thought, oh no, there's not going to be a cake. But then my son thankfully stepped in and saved the day. So
thank you to Arjun, the brother who was born right after me, second eldest in the family, saving the podcast microphone birthday cake.
Yes.
That was a really cool cake. It literally looked like this microphone.
And when Lakshmi smashed it, it shot off like a cannon.
It busted like a cannon. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was because I didn't really know what was going to happen.
No, I thought it would like spill out, like fall out, but it was like...
Yeah, like a cannon firing a shot.
That was so cool. That was really cool. We had some special displays up, which you can see here. And one of the displays features the news article that was done about us just before the launch. You just entered the Archibald Prize. Tell us about the image that you did.
Well, I captured the image of Lakshmi on my birthday last year, having the idea about tails and tea, relaxing in a lounge chair in the Sofitel. And I just took a photo of that. And when I looked at the photo, I felt like it was inspired by God that I have to do a portrait based on this photo because it's a key moment in Lakshmi's life and in the life of this company. And obviously it's about launching the podcast, which is interesting because it's actually not normally something I would do, as Lakshmi knows. But I just felt that because on her vision board, which she made a long time ago, the word Archibald was on there. And it just kept like hitting my mind.
It was weird because I saw this magazine when I was making the vision boards, and it says she confronted her horrible self to create her short-listed Archibald works. It just hit my heart again. It was like, boom. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like something I need to do. Yeah. And I just felt like, oh, I have to share the worst parts of my life, all the crazy stuff that most people wouldn't talk about, and get it out there because I got to help people.
Exactly. And so this art piece actually shows that it's about the transformation. So when you see the image, it starts off very dark at the bottom and it shows how like we can feel, and Lakshmi's felt very much dragged down by this like sort of evil force, like hands grabbing you and pulling you down. And somehow you have to elevate yourself and turn your face to the light. You have to go through all these things, but you have to focus on, you know, that God is there and He is with you, even if it doesn't seem like it often in these very difficult moments of life.
Yeah. And that's how I've been feeling for years, I would say. I've been always felt like something was standing on me, on my shoulder or my head. Since I was very young, I've felt this darkness just hovering around me. And I got a lot of clarity on that, which I'll share in the podcast a bit later. That darkness was heavier and became worse after COVID and after some of the stuff that happened to me before COVID, which I also share in the podcast, and the industries that I was working in and the people I met and what happened. And even in my personal journey, the people who came around when they saw I was doing a lot of interesting things, some of the cool stuff that I got to do, at the same time attracting really wonderful people, I had attracted some really nasty people who just wanted to take things from me or use my platform. And that brought a lot of pain and a lot of heartache. And when I removed myself from those situations, from those people, when you remove yourself from an old life, it'll clutch and claw and try desperately to drag you back into it.
Exactly.
And I felt the full force of that because I had said goodbye to my entire life. And I remember I begged and pleaded with God to give me a new life. I did not like the life that I was living. I was grateful for the good things that had happened, but I didn't feel fulfilled or happy. And I felt like I was living in a complete lie or something that was fake and it wasn't real. And I needed something real, something of substance to pour my energy into. And I felt like I'd helped build all these towers for all these people and helped build things that I wasn't proud of. I felt weren't really contributing to anything in the world that was important or significant. And getting away from that was hell. Those fragments followed me for a few years. And it wasn't until this year I finally pushed my way through this wall or whatever it was, and you could feel it spiritually and physically, the pain. I've learned if you come from a place where you don't know anybody or like you're in some kind of dark place and you have your eyes on something greater for your life and it feels so far away, you can get there, but you have to go through the thing to get there. And I notice a lot of people just give up because it's too painful. But I have to tell you, sitting here right now in this chair, I encourage you to go through it and make those decisions. Cut those people off. Cut that bad crap off. Leave that bad thing or whatever it is, whether it's like a work thing or a people thing or a circumstantial thing or a bad habit. I encourage you to go through the pain of getting out of it because it doesn't kill you and you're still going to be here. And when you get to the other side, you're like, man, I'm so grateful I got here. It's like running a marathon. When you're in that last leg of the race, you feel like you're dying and you're like heaving and huffing and your chest is aching and you're thirsty and tired and your legs are burning, but you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And then when you cross that finish line, it's like every good thing that comes with that, you know? And how many people you've encouraged who are watching you and wanting you to finish the race and win. How many people have you inspired, as well as helping yourself and the people around you? It's one of the greatest things you could ever do for yourself. In the progression of getting this launch party done and getting these episodes out, I went through a lot. It wasn't just a spiritual battle. It was a physical battle as well. I wasn't in my best shape. And I know like some of my friends might think that's funny because they never saw me as out of shape. But for my body weight and my size, I was not in my best shape. I couldn't breathe properly. My feet hurt. My ankles hurt. I had sore, creaky knees. It was pretty bad. I felt like I was 100 years old.
Yeah, a lot older than me.
And I couldn't even get upstairs without feeling like I was going to faint.
Dear.
And I would get to the top and barely be able to like move. I just changed all my eating habits. Actually, after Easter, I ended up getting this horrendous pimple right here. And it was the worst one I've seen in years and it wouldn't go away. And I thought, oh no, we're about to do this podcast launch and this thing's not going down and it's been 2 weeks. And it pushed me into changing my eating habits.
It followed more my eating habits.
Yeah, I followed a much better, like healthier lifestyle.
Diet.
Went back to my vegan lifestyle. All the turmeric teas, like all of it. And we started playing this party around Easter, which was about a month ago. And in that month, I've lost 8 kilograms.
Wow. Yeah, that is
8.
really significant. That's a lot. That is a lot.
I started around, I think it was 58. And I'm now down right after my birthday in the party, I'm 50. All the bloat's gone down. I feel so much better. I feel lighter.
Just
I can breathe better.
The impact of just changing your diet. See, not even over exercising, because I know you haven't really done that yet. You've basically just changed your diet. And look at the results.
I only work out about 3 times a week. I want to amp that up more because now I would like to build some muscle so I feel stronger.
Yes.
But I focused heavily on what I was eating and what I was drinking. When I say what I was drinking, I'm talking adding smoothies, green smoothies to my diet, turmeric teas to take down the inflammation.
And number one thing you did, cut out processed packet
I used
food,
to eat a lot of processed food.
like chips and those really badly processed chocolates that contain
And the
high
biscuits.
amounts of sugar and biscuits.
And it's funny because I'm never a person who would overly consume these things, but I would have a little bit every day. So like after lunch or something, I go grab a couple of cookies, a quarter bag of chips, and that was every day to maybe every second day. And I didn't realize how much that was adding up.
Yeah, it does add up, even all those little bits.
It's something I definitely want to talk about more on this journey.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I got very caught up in the body image hype of, yes, beautiful at any size. Absolutely. Everyone's all different sizes, but beautiful for what's healthy for you.
Yeah, that's the key. What's healthy for you?
And I was a bit bigger than I am now. I've gone down about 3 belt hole sizes. And everyone said you look good, and I knew I liked the way I looked. It was not really about the way I looked. It wasn't healthy for my body.
Yeah, because you're a small
I'm a more petite person.
Yeah.
I've got small feet, and they couldn't support the extra weight that I was carrying around. And I was waking up, like I said, creaking in pain. My knees hurt, my joints hurt.
Be happening
I couldn't breathe properly. And I considered myself as more of a healthy type of person.
Yeah.
And even then, I didn't realize how much improvement I could make.
Well, that's like with me, which I'll talk about it another time, but when I got diabetes, I was absolutely shocked because I thought I was a healthy eater and I did a lot of exercise and I thought I would never get a disease like this, but I was wrong and I made a lot of changes since then.
And I have to say, since dropping the 8 kilograms, I have got more energy and I was able to get a lot more done. And I felt the more I was on this journey and getting healthier and planning this big launch party, I was able to get more work done than I have in a long time.
Yes.
I was amazed at how much I was motoring out. Because the feat of putting on this party on such short notice was almost impossible.
Yes.
The amount of work that we had to do, I took on extra work to make more money, to buy the things for the party. And that meant hardly having any time to edit. And there was days where I was only sleeping for 3 hours. Sometimes I hadn't slept at all and I'd be working 2 days straight. And I do not recommend that lifestyle. That it was just for that moment. But I was just amazed at how much work I was getting done. And I thought, man, I've got more work done in this short month than I have in a year.
What you can do when you fully focus on a purpose.
Yes. Purpose is the key driver.
Yes.
Purpose, knowing we had to release the podcast, knowing we had to do the launch party, it helped bang me into shape physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that darkness I was talking about, the heaviness, when I was so focused on the purpose, when a challenge would come up, I found it easier to overcome it.
Exactly.
When people I met at work were frustrating me or someone had some bad vibes towards me for whatever reason, that's another story in this podcast. Normally it would really rattle me and I'd get upset. And I would come home and talk to you about it for a long time and how angry that I was and how upset I was. But I just couldn't give a crap. It would happen and I just like, stop that. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to do this.
You
and I'm
moved
just
on
like,
very fast.
even in the moment when it was happening, I wouldn't dwell on it. I would see them and they'd mess around or whatever. I'd look through them and just be like, okay, what do I got to do for this podcast party? Okay, I got to do this, 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 and this. And they'd be yabbering on about something. And I'm just there thinking, okay, have we done this yet? Have we done that yet? The guest list, blah, blah, blah. And it just took my mind off all the negative things that life can throw at you. Purpose is so freaking powerful. And it just puts you in a better state, a better place. And man, you just move past the hard crap faster.
You don't have time for the negative.
Don't have time for it.
You can't entertain them.
And I really wanted to get this point across because it's this thing, this heaviness that I have seen hold me back and hold so many people back.
Yes.
At my work and throughout my life, I've always been in the people business. I meet, I could say, hundreds of people a week. For years, that's been my life. I've been in events and marketing and entertainment, and I meet so many people, so many backgrounds, ages, walks of life, cultures, and I've seen the same thing plague everybody. This depressive, anxious darkness of the heaviness of the earth that we live in, of the negativity that's on this planet. And I've seen it drag people down, ruin people's lives. And I've always been on this journey of discovering how can anybody overcome their hardships? What's one thing that can help everybody overcome and live the life they were born to live and be happy and be fulfilled regardless of what's going on around the world? It will never be perfect, but we can live a truly fulfilled life and live a much higher quality of life than the one we're living now. And the key things that I found is, number one, is having a purpose, having a spiritual connection to God, having faith, and having the energy to take action on what we know to do.
Exactly.
And all of those things create magic in your life and has in my life.
And actually, I've put a Bible verse on the portrait that I did of you, and it says, "Sin is crouching at your door. It wants to rule you, but you must overcome it." And that kind of sums up everything that you were talking about just now.
Yeah.
That dark energy, and it says crouching. When something's crouching, it's down on the floor on your feet, and that means you can trample on it. It does not have the power. It wants to rule you, but it does not have the power. You have the power, and you can overcome that. And that's what I really wanted to portray about the portrait and what you've been through. And as you said, what everyone goes through.
Yeah.
And you, just like you said, have purpose, have faith in God, and you can easily overcome, well, I shouldn't say easily, but you can overcome that.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
And you must remember that evil has not got the power. You have it.
That's very important because it's a mental trick.
It does. It tricks you.
If we think that we can't, then we can't. But mentally, if we think that we can, well, we bloody well can.
Exactly. And it's amazing what you can achieve.
It really is. I'm speaking from this experience firsthand. And after what I've discovered, I really want to share this in as much detail as possible because I truly have seen the magic of when somebody can overcome their crap and their darkness and really live in purpose, the beauty that your life is about to become for yourself, for your family, for the people around you. That is something that everybody needs.
Exactly.
We all need it, and we all need you to be on purpose, because when you're on purpose, the shine and the light that comes from your life touches us.
Exactly.
It reaches us.
Yes.
And all of us all over the world are going to feel it. So by you helping yourself, you're helping everybody.
Exactly. As you said, the light shines, and it shines into all the corners.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our little friend over here.
Our little friend.
This is the official Kickstart premiere. And to wrap up, we're going to dig into this dessert and the tea behind us, have a bit of afternoon tea before we clock off and get into our next lot of work that we have to do. We're so grateful for all of you who are joining us. I look forward to doing this journey with you guys, and I hope I get to meet a whole bunch of you wherever you are around the world. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yes.
Let's do this journey
together.
Okay. See you soon. Bye. Thank you for joining me at Lakshmi Bee. If you were inspired or encouraged by this episode, please like and share with your family and friends. You can find out more about us at lakshmibee.com and our socials at Lakshmi Bee. Subscribe and join us on this journey. Together, we can all help make a global difference by simply doing what we can, using what we already have, and becoming the great people we were created to be.